invocation. Gracious Heavenly Father, we give thanks for this day, and we thank you for all the blessings you've given this district. Father, we thank you for allowing us to serve, and we ask that you grant us wisdom as we conduct the business of this betterment of our kids. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
For which is
If during the course of the meeting, discussion of any item on the agenda should be held in closed meeting, the board will conduct a closed meeting in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551, subchapters D and E, or Texas Government Code, Section 418. Before any closed meeting is convened, the presiding officer will publicly identify the section or sections of the act authorizing the closed meeting. Discussion will be limited to only items listed on the agenda. All final votes, action, or decisions will be taken in open meeting. At regular meetings, the board shall hear persons who desire to make comments to the board. Each speaker that is recognized shall limit the presentation to 3 minutes. If an issue mentioned is listed on the agenda, the board will defer discussion of the issue until the appropriate time during the meeting. When referring to specific district employees, with the exception of the superintendent and board members, please use the person's title only, not their name. Statements made during public comment are the opinions of the speaker and not necessarily those of the board or district staff. During public comment, please refrain from yelling, using profanity, interrupting other speakers, making personal attacks on district employees, or engaging in other uncivil conduct. Speakers can be held liable for their statements. Morris, we have one person signed up to speak. Cassidy Decker.
School Board, today we stand before you on behalf of Bridge City Middle School, urging you to take action regarding the current state of our facilities and the challenges that we are currently facing as a school and as a staff. Today, we're going to share with you a few challenges we're facing in our facility and in our programs daily. Our facility has outlived its useful life. Not only are there numerous cosmetic and interior issues that I would spend more than my 3 minutes allotted discussing, we are currently faced with operating a facility that was built 60 years ago in a now technologically advanced world. Our school lacks modernization, and in a world going digital, our building cannot take on these changes. Currently, we are over capacity in our facility, meaning there is not enough space to suitably accommodate our students. After viewing an in-depth demographic study, the growing number of class sizes that we have entering our school in the next few years is significantly larger than the class sizes we are already struggling to accommodate. With larger class sizes, we strip our students of personalized instruction and small group instruction, which is essential in forming bonds with our students and catering to their various learning styles and needs. Our restrooms are not suitable for students or staff. We currently have 3 restroom stalls per gender for each grade level. That is 18 available restrooms we have for over 700 students to use in an allotted 4-minute transition time. The staff restroom has 2 stalls that we share amongst 50 plus staff members. When you have 10 teachers waiting to use the restroom in the allotted 4-minute transition period, you can see the issue this poses and the stress it adds to our staff. And this is only the best case scenario, weather permitted. Beyond the numerous challenges we face in the classroom due to our facility, our programs are also suffering. Currently, the Bridge City Middle School cheer, dance, and theater programs are operating out of the Bridge City Middle School cafeteria during 7th period. We have 3 courses happening at one time. There is not sufficient space for these electives to be held. Currently, our band hall has overflowing classes due to the lack of space available to accommodate 200 plus students in that program and their instruments. Our principals in manufacturing class currently does not have a suitable classroom, and for the most part, their classes take place outside with extension cords running from inside the building to power the tools outside. Board, we have top-tier kids and a top-tier staff. It is time we give them a top-tier facility and opportunities so that we can be a top-tier district. We simply cannot keep band-aiding this facility when our only real fix is a new school. We must do better for our kids and for our programs, and that time for change is now. So board, community, if not now, when? If we are not going to alleviate these challenges for our students right now and the programs and the staff, then when is that time? Well, that time is now. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3 is recognitions. Dr. Kelly, we have some students we need to recognize.
Yes, Coach McGuire is going to recognize our students tonight.
Thank y'all for being here. We had 7 athletes who were recognized for academic all-state, and that's statewide. So it's a huge honor, especially when you're a coach. You know, you want to have great athletes, you also want to have smart athletes, and we do. We've got some great kids in the school district, and they showed up. So I'm going to read this letter from Joe Martin of the Texas High School Coaches Association Executive Director. Texas High School Coaches Association and the Texas Army National Guard would like to congratulate you on being placed on one of our 2021-2022 THSCA academic all-state teams. We understand that your performance in the classroom can sometimes be difficult to manage with your participation in athletics, but your hard work has not gone unnoticed. The THSCA academic all-state teams recognize high school athletes who excel in the following categories: GPA, class rank, ACT, SAT score. You are being recognized as a team member based on your scores in these categories. We applaud you for your commitment and dedication to perform with the highest of excellence academically, on and off the court. Thank you for your contribution to athletics in Texas. Keep up the great work and finish strong this year. We wish you continued success in all of your future endeavors. Joe Martin. What they don't tell you in that is that to be recognized academically, I'll say you have to have a 92 or above average for all 4 years that you're in school. So all 4 years that you're in school, you have to have above 92. So we have 7 football players that were recognized. First, we have Hunter Bellinger. He was second team academic all-state. JT Fielder, he was honorable mention, all academic all-state. Ethan Oseguera, honorable mention, academic all-state. Michelle Newsom was honorable mention, academic all-state. I don't need that. Carter Laparoli, honorable mention, academic all-state. Harrison Gautier, honorable mention, academic all-state. And Dorian Pruitt was honorable mention, academic all-state.
Thank you, Coach, and great job, guys. We're very proud of you.
Guys, congratulations and thank you guys for all your hard work and the way you represent Bridge City ISD. Typically, this is a good time to get up and leave because the meeting typically goes downhill from here. However, we do have another group that I'd like to recognize tonight, and I'd love for you guys to be a part of that. January is School Board Recognition Month, and Bridge City ISD is honored to celebrate its trustees for their dedication and commitment to the district schools and students. Our school board members are selfless volunteers who spend long hours working to ensure all of our students have the opportunities to learn and grow. Celebrating School Board Recognition Month is one way to say thanks for all that they do. School boards are essential to a strong public education system. They provide the local governance and oversight that makes it possible for school districts to serve students. Our district benefits from the tireless work and countless hours contributed by these local citizens who work without pay, exactly $0.00, serving as a link between the community and the classroom. Their dedicated service is recognized and truly appreciated. Board members serving Bridge City ISD, Place 1, Paul Zock. Place 2, Judy Cole. Place 3, Rebecca Rutledge. Place 4, Thad Hill. Place 5, Jerry McGinnis. Place 6, Michael Johnson. And place 7, Mark Anderson. I don't know what's customary, but would the campuses like to say what you brought to the school board members?
All right, so we had a few guys that are involved in our engineering program. This was kind of a joint effort between our woodworking and engineering programs. But they're gonna pass these out to you guys so you can see them a little bit. But it's a very nice cutting board that they've routed on this side, and then on the back side, you've got the Bridge City ISD seal, which has been carved in with your last name down here. So they probably aren't well versed with your name, so they're gonna look at the name.
That was fine.
To match those up.
That was fine.
Guys, the work that you do in the shop in those CTE classes is absolutely phenomenal. From the fire pits to the grills to cutting boards. You guys produce nicer stuff than is in most stores, so.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Wow. We do have a short video our middle school BCTV class prepared for you in appreciation.
Thank you, School Board, for giving your time to BCMS.
Because of you, we have great teachers.
The best staff.
Great technology.
The best classes.
Amazing programs.
And you're always making our school better.
Thank you, school board, for all you do for BCMS.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, school board, for rising above.
Ms. Hoffman, thank you for that. Pass that along to those kids and incredible work. Great job.
On behalf of BCI, I'd like to say thank you for your support of our campus as well. We have a smaller kind of world. But it's equally as just going to walk up and just kind of describe what we gave to you, our gifts to you. And the first gift is beautiful. I think it's our secretary of Restrooms, right here. And it's an image of our town. And our secretary had the idea to have it cut, have somebody do a wood cutout, and then she painted it and put it here. And Kristen Snell, if you know her, she makes you want to be a better person. And so she did that.
Beautiful.
And then we also had, I asked one of our second grade teachers, she was so able to videos to our students step by step on how to water the cardinal. So each of you have various images of a cardinal signed by a second grader.
This here?
It's in the back.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
That was a second grader?
Second grade. So we have, you have various images that were framed, yes. Also, we donations that were made, principal donations that were made in their honor to various ministries in Ecuador, to ministries in Ecuador, the Natural School Program in the Home Health Office of Louisiana. They do amazing things for children, especially needs children, and so, and various other ministries that in your honor. I will say too how much our staff appreciates each of you. You're tireless. We see it. In fact, about an hour ago, I was communicating with one of my paraprofessionals, and I said I was hard for you, and she said, tell him how much we love you. And it means so much to me that in this climate, at times, public schools do get a bad rap. You can trust these folks. You can trust your leadership.
Anybody else? Guys, we have a group of teachers and support staff and students that really truly is unmatched. And you see the result of it here tonight, these young men and their hard work. And we can't forget about the families, the parents that make this happen. So thank you, parents, for your support. Guys, thank you for your contributions to Bridge City ISD, and keep doing great things no matter where you go in life, because you'll represent Bridge City all the way through. So thank you guys again for being here tonight, and thank you everybody. Thank you middle school for being here tonight. So, and thank you school board for everything that you do for our staff, for our students, and it truly, guys, this truly is the hardest working board that I have ever been a part of. You know, when you go to a volleyball game in Houston and 7 board members are there, that's pretty impressive. These guys go all over the state, from cheer competitions to volleyball. It doesn't matter. If our kids are involved, then they're involved. And that just speaks volumes for who this board is. So we are very fortunate to have these guys leading our school district. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Y'all are welcome to stay, but we're going to get into the guts of the meeting, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 4 is consent action items A through J. I know. Awesome. Boy, can we clear a house?
I'll make that motion, Ms. Becky.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second for approval of the consent action items. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. Item number 5 is Bridge City ISD Educational Foundation. We'll skip-
Mr. Anderson, were you going to give the,
Education Foundation met. I happened to miss that meeting, but they are moving forward. They are moving forward with a clay shoot on April 9th as a fundraiser. We've also talked about several other options for fundraising events. I think by next month, we're gonna have some of those zeroed in. And the only other important thing, we're still waiting on the IRS to approve our 501c3 status so that we can really put fundraising in high gear. That's usually one of the first things people ask, or are you a 501c3? So that's pretty much what we covered this past month.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Agenda item number 6, finance and information items will be on page 55 now.
these are superintendent approved donations. Bridge City High School has received the following donations: an indoor tabletop scoreboard valued at $489.99 from the Bridge City Little Dribblers, and a donation of $100 from Kinzel Auto Group to benefit the high school choir.
Under action items, we have some board approved donations we need to talk about.
We've got 2 donations that do need to be approved by the board. Bridge City High School has received the following donations: $897.12 from Traditions Portraits to be used at the principal's discretion for campus needs, and $3,000 from David Jones to benefit the boys' golf program.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passed. On to page 61. We have a resolution. You want to talk?
Yes. This is a resolution relating to establishing the Bridge City Independent School District's intention to reimburse itself for the prior lawful expenditure of funds in relation to constructing various Bridge City ISD improvements from the proceeds of tax-exempt obligations to be used by Bridge City ISD for authorized purposes, authorizing other matters incident and related thereto, and providing an effective date. So what this is this is the resolution to reimburse ourselves for the maintenance tax note on the facilities. Now, this is, remember, maintenance tax note, the athletic facilities, the tennis courts, the field, the track, everything inside that fence. But also, you remember we have some elementary renovations coming up, and a lot of those renovations are inside the building. We're not adding square footage. We're renovating some of those classrooms. So the maintenance tax note can be used in there as well. So what we did, we elected to keep this money in fund balance, which I think was a fantastic move on part of the board, to keep the money in fund balance and budget these expenses over the next number of years. And so what this has done, we have already spent some money with Hellas and with Braun and the groups that are working on the athletic facilities. So this resolution will go back and allow us to take the money that we've already spent with these groups and go under the maintenance tax note. The maintenance tax note would be voted on in February as far as the rate and all the terms and things like that. That will be in February, but this resolution is allowing us to include any funds we've already spent in that maintenance tax note. Saving that money from coming out of our fund balance.
Resolution,
Yes.
motion that we approve the resolution. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Thank you all. Agenda item number 7 under instruction. We need to adopt the BCISD District of Innovation Proposed Renewal Plan found on page 65 in your packet.
Dr. Fountain, did you plan on hitting the high points of this renewal?
Yes, y'all have the executive summary in your packet. And essentially, this just covers the highlights, to take Dr. Kelly's words, of what our District of Innovation Plan focuses on. Innovation 1 is the school start and end date. That allows us to begin prior to that 4th Monday in August, which we've done for several years now. Innovation 2 has been removed because we're no longer under that 420 daily instructional minutes. We now have to meet that total minutes of 75,600. So our school day is a little longer. Innovation 3 is very important. I would say particularly to the high school. Teacher certification allows us to DOI, essentially teachers that have experience in their field, particularly in the area of CTE, sciences, and those areas. Innovation 4 is for teacher appraisals. This allows us to evaluate teachers less than annually. Now, each teacher will still be responsible to create goals, and we'll have a summative evaluation, and they will have walkthroughs. They just won't have the formal 45 minutes where the principal or assistant principal sits in their classroom. That part will be on a rotating basis. But all of our principals are in the classroom a great deal, so they still understand how their performance is. Also, Innovation 3 is those staff development requirements. Allows us to determine the most effective way to use our professional development based on our local data. So what we see in our data meetings and our PLCs, we can determine what our professional development should be. Innovation 6 is district level planning and decision making. This allows us to continue the process of DEIC and the DI district improvement plan, but with our local data, but it removes the formal committee. The reason for this, and the next one, 7, for the campus level planning, is because we do a lot of this through a lot of different committees. There's a lot of committees involved in our campus plans, our district improvement plans. And so we want to be able to use information from each of those at the campus level and district level. And then the final one is for the local health advisory council. It will allow us, that innovation will allow us to basically use our safety committees and other committees that touch on health without having to have a separate meeting for that health information. Because, for example, Dr. Menino has health, safety, and all of that in one place instead of 2 separate meetings. We can do it all at once. So those are the innovations we're proposing. And we did get input from our DIC committee, as well as our campus committees, and of course from our administration as well. Do y'all have any questions? Okay.
I'll seek a motion that we adopt the District of Innovation Proposed Renewal Plan. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Thank you all for your hard work on that. All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? And second item under instruction found on page 80 is the proposed GPA system revision.
Mr. Woolley and Welborn are going to hit the high points of this proposal.
So we're gonna just kind of narratively talk about why we're doing this, and then we'll hit some of these highlights as we go along. But so this is our 4th year at the high school as a team together, and so we didn't really notice a problem until towards the end of that first year. And one of the first problems that we ran into with our grade point average policy that's in place, we started noticing that the current policy incentivizes taking a no class for our seniors. And that sounds really weird, but those seniors who want to graduate at the top, and if you look at our current seniors, they all have a no class. And that's because our current grade point policy divides by the number of classes you take. And if you divide by 7, that is better for your GPA than divided by 8. And we did not see that right away. Our students figured this out long ago. And so they've been on top of this for a while. And so that was really the first thing that got us thinking, that doesn't sound right. If our top kids should be taking, really be trying all these classes if we would like them to. And so, and it really hurt the kids that were taking A classes. And that's not something that we wanted to really do. And so we've since then we've kind of put some things in place for the time being, but we really want to have a kind of a fix for moving forward. And so this new policy that we're proposing would go into effect for incoming freshmen next year. So they would be on that plan for 4 years. So this is our current 8th graders is what we're looking at. So the class of 2020.
Nobody changes midstream.
Right. I think that's one of the most important things to note is it's not going to affect anyone currently in high school classes. And those students who are in 8th grade taking high school credits are not receiving any GPA points this current school year. So that we do have some students who are getting algebra credit or something like that in 8th grade, but they are not receiving any grade points. None of that will carry over until they begin their freshman year. You want to talk about the gaps?
Yeah, so one of the other problems that we noticed as we kept going is that our current GPA system groups points together. So from a 96 to 100 is worth the same amount of GPA points no matter what. And so I've actually sat in a class and listened to a student say, well, I don't need to do that one. I've got over a 96 no matter what. So we're not incentivizing students to continue to try their best no matter what. Our top kids pick and choose, not all the time. Please understand it's not a huge deal, but it's also not rewarding the best academic student with the most points all the time. And then there are some other gaps throughout our place where we notice that the gaps just don't make sense. A student making an 80 receives 4.0 GPA points.
3 points.
What?
3.0 to 2.
Yeah, sorry.
You're on.
Well,
Yep.
I'm on the honors kids, sorry.
Yep.
For the honors kids, it's a 4.0. For the non-honors classes, it's a 3.0. At a 79, it drops a whole grade point for 1 point difference.
From making an 80 on a semester to making a 79 is a whole grade point difference.
Instead of being graduated slowly, each point mattering. So part of the other part of this proposal is that each point matters. A 99 is worth more than a 98. A 79 is worth more than a 78. And we have a giant chart if you want to look over it sometime, but it's just pages of numbers, but it lines out exactly how that falls. And so doing better on individual assignments now matters more. Turning in every assignment now matters more, and trying your best throughout the entire 6 weeks and the entire semester matters more than it did, because each individual point will matter to the student's final GPA. Also, that helps us somewhat because we are less likely to have ties. With the grades being chunked together, we see ties, especially the first few years of high school. And so it's very hard to tell those kids where you really stand, because a lot of freshmen can come in and maintain all A's and all high A's in those freshman class, and they don't really know where they're standing. Whereas now they'll have a better idea from the get-go where they're at, and it'll help eliminate a lot of those end ties for us when we get down to deciding valedictorian, salutatorian, and top 10%.
So a kid right now, you could have 3 freshmen. One of them has 96 in all their classes. One has a 97 in all their classes. One has a 99 in all their classes. and they're actually tied
They're all tied.
They're all tied for number one.
because those 4 grade points are chunked together.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So, the last thing that we want to say, that one of the reasons that we wanted to work on something new is because, currently, with our CTE programs growing, we have noticed students not taking these upper level CTE courses, because they're so focused on GPA, class rank, when these students are going to be nurses. They want to be in the medical field, but they refuse to take our CNA program because it takes up so much of their schedule, and they don't receive any elevated grade points for that. Even though that CNA program is quite a bit of work. And so we'll start kind of moving on to some of the fixes that we are proposing. And one of those is having different tiers within the grade point system. The first tier would be for our honors, dual credit, AP classes, that upper tier that we've always had. The second tier would be for certain upper level CTE courses. So that CNA program. So, and then there's another tier just below that of our regular courses. So it does give them a little bit of incentive. Doesn't give them the total grade points of taking a dual credit or an honors class, but it does give them a little bump GPA wise, and hopefully enough incentive for those students to try those upper level engineering courses that take up 2 sections of their day, because the state of Texas says it has to take up 2 sections of your day. We don't get to choose that. And so sometimes the state creates policies and implements programs and 4 course sequences that make us have to rethink what we're doing on the local level. And now one of those things is we need to rethink the GPA system. And it's kind of pushed us to do that.
On the CTE classes, also say this, we're not just grabbing CTE classes out of the dark and trying to decide which ones are weighted. We actually receive additional funding for advanced CTE classes, and the state sends out a list of those each year of which classes receive that additional funding and what they consider advanced. And so that is our starting point when we're deciding which classes receive that additional weighted GPA for the CTE classes, is that advanced list that we receive each summer for the advanced CTE courses.
In order to fix the chunking problem of 96 to 100 all gets the same grade points, we are now, every point is going to matter. So a student earning 100 in an honors class would receive 6.0 point grade points. A student earning a 99 would receive 5.9. 98, 5.8. So it goes down by point, by decimal. A 1/10 of a point difference for every point all the way down. And that the honors category starts at 6.0 and comes down a 1/10 of a point for each grade. The CTE category, advanced CTE category, starts at a 5.0 and comes down a 1/10 of a point. The regular classes start at a 4.0 and come down a 1/10 of a point for each grade. Okay. So the last thing we're going to kind of, I think, leave you with is this bottom part.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to try to explain that one?
Yep, I'll take a
Okay,
stab at it.
all right.
Okay, so currently our students can take 5 weighted courses, period, end of discussion. That's the maximum amount of honors courses you can take. And so they take 5 weighted courses, then they take 3 courses that are non-weighted, whether that's band, athletics, a lower level CTE class, a high level CTE class. They simply take 3 non-weighted courses. So we wanted to give them more ways to achieve the highest possible GPA. So instead of just capping and saying you can only do these courses, we're in the middle of course selections right now. I can tell you that to get to 5 weighted courses as a senior next year, you got 2 choices. You're either going to do this or this. You're either going to double up on sciences or you're going to double up in social studies. That's essentially your only route to get to 5 weighted courses as a senior. They've taken everything else. And we want to allow our kids more opportunities. We've been able to partner with Lamar Orange, which is opening doors we've never had before, and that's great for our kids. So what we want to do is we want to allow students to try to achieve a maximum GPA point. And so as freshmen and sophomores, they can go for 42 points worth of GPA. So if you make 100 in all of your classes all year long, you would score 42 cumulative GPA points. The reason we picked 42, we ran scenarios for weeks going through different kids' schedules, what they would do over 4 years, looking at past students, what they had done for 4 years. The reason we chose 42 is it allows the freshmen to come in and not feel that immediate pressure to overload themselves and take too many honors classes. They get to step into what it means to be a high school honor student and what that workload and what that rigor looks like. It also gives them the ability to start and explore multiple CTE programs without having to worry about their GPA dropping because they're not in an advanced class. So they get to decide what it is they want to pursue for an endorsement prior to jumping into high-level courses and it hurting their GPA because they're taking something lower while they decide what they want to do. The juniors and seniors will be able to take 45 points. And we picked 45 for a couple of reasons. One of the main ones is we feel like 45 allows the kids to really go out, push themselves as they're heading to college, take some honors classes that they haven't been able to do more dual credit than they've ever been able to do. But it still leaves it to where they can't max out at all honors classes because we think if we did that, we'd have some students that would forsake other programs and it would end up hurting the district as a whole. So by setting it at 45, it leaves the kids room to, I'm going to be in band and athletics or strutters and athletics, or I'm going to take one aid class and be an athlete. That way I have some time for my brain to rest during the day.
One of our mottos has always been, be a part of all that's offered. And if we allow students to take all upper level honors classes 8 times a day, some of them will do it and they will miss out on being a part of all that's offered. And so that's just the decision that we're making, that we're not going to allow them to do that. We're, as educational professionals, we feel like a more well-rounded education is better for them as we go through Bridge City ISD. Y'all have any questions? That's a great question. We ran lots of models off of prospective students. We did take names out and kind of actually ran some students from the past, some current students that are going through, and and then thought about, okay, if a student's coming in, what would they want to do if they had these options now? These past students, we're going to run some scenarios and see how it comes out. But these new students coming in, they may have a different mindset of, okay, this is a whole new ball game for us. We can try some different things. And so we did. We ran lots of different scenarios and models. We saw bigger gaps between the top kids, so we don't see those ties or close to ties, which as a high school principal, it makes me, oh my gosh. When you've got number 1 and number 2 and they're neck and neck, and we may lose out because of one of them might lose out because of a tiebreaker of some scenario. And, that's not something that I don't ever want to have to break news to a kid that they're not the top graduate of their class because of some tiebreaker.
It's all very good. What I like probably the best is it encourages seniors to take everything, take 8 classes and not, a lot of times they'll miss out on a math or something they need to take in college because they don't have to take it, and it actually helped their GPA. And then the other thing is, the whole time I was listening, all I kept hearing was student centered. I mean, it's 100% student centered, and has their best interest in mind, and gives them an opportunity, like you said, I want to be in strutters and I want to be in band, but if I may get passed up. Well, this prevents that and allows kids to be in whatever they want to be in, and I like that. Good work. I know it took a long time.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's what my question was.
So we
You're
have
going to the
freshman,
8th grade.
Parent night is coming up February 3rd.
Okay.
That will be the first time that they hear about it.
Okay.
And if we feel like we need to hold more informational meetings, we will. I'll gladly schedule those. I have a feeling that we probably have some good attendance on those, especially those students who are already thinking about those parents that are already thinking about it. But yes, the first time that they will hear about it is our freshman parent night, February 3rd, coming up.
I'll also say this, because I'm in the room when we schedule with the freshmen. We have a worksheet that they do where they go through and they circle and they mark what we want. Well, added to the freshmen this year, their worksheet is a column down at the bottom that helps us work through how many points they're going for. And so they can actually see how close they're getting to that 42 if that's their goal. And we, the counselors and I stop and we meet with each student one at a time when we do their schedules. It's not a blanket, here's your freshman schedule. So they sit down with each of us. They've taken career stuff in their 8th grade printed class with Coach Lee and Ms. Sharp. So they have some ideas about what their aptitudes are in. And so when we meet with them, it's one-on-one personalized as we go through this. And we will stop and answer any questions they have about what do I need to do if this is my goal, and what do I need to do if this is what I want to do. So they will have multiple opportunities, but also get that individual chance to ask us.
Thank you, guys.
So we need to approve this action. I'll seek a motion. Motion in 2 seconds. All those in, any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Thank you. We are now moving on to agenda item number 8 under policies. We're on page 81 if you're trying to follow along.
Bridge City Independent School District has received notice that the selection process for the Orange County Appraisal District Board of Directors for the term 2022 and 2023 is now complete, and the following persons were elected to serve: Tim Andrews, Vider; Dr. Susan Crockett, West Orange; Karen Fisher, Vider; Dale Parrish, Bridge City; and Philip Welch, Orangefield. And there's no action needed. That's just an informational item.
Under policies, item B, action items, we have Tasby policy update.
You first saw this update in November, and one of the things that probably, well, that we worked on the longest and that delayed it, the second reading until tonight, it's actually on page 95 if you want to take a look at 95. The second to last paragraph on page 95 says the employees shall receive payment for each day of accumulated local leave to the maximum of $3,500. That used to read $2,500. What we are hoping this will do is give teachers a little more incentive to not burn days. They'll get paid up to $3,500 instead of up to $2,500. And so this went through our Tasby policy, and so that was the main holdup there. But again, that is definitely for the betterment of the teachers and the school district, because it keeps our teachers in the classroom and instead of at home burning days with subs in the classroom. So instead of paying substitutes, we're paying our teachers a little bit more to stay.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the local update on 118? Not all in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? Thank you. Under item 9, the district facilities operations update. Reese.
Guys, before he gets started, I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. I know I will, but you guys, well, I was going to say you don't know, but you know how fortunate we are to have Mr. Reese leading our operations, transportation, maintenance. The guy drives a morning and afternoon route, drives field trips, drives athletic teams, does whatever he has to do whenever he has to do it. And we're in some hard times right now where the morning routes look different than the afternoon routes, and 2:30 in the afternoon looks different than 2:35. He is literally working minute by minute, changing routes, combining routes, doing whatever he can to get our kids to and from school. And we are very, very fortunate to have Joseph heading that stuff up for us.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Got to give it to our team though. They pull it all together. We got a call this morning at 5:45. We had to eliminate a route. We put it out on Facebook, tried everything we could. So we've got 2 out with illness the rest of this week. That's kind of put us in a bind, but we did eliminate our daycare route in the morning. We've combined it with 3 different routes. That's helped us. Currently, we didn't have a driver for that route, so that's one less that we have to cover. Our roof at BCI is fully completed. No more leaking. Turned out great. They finished with it real well. And concrete's poured for the tennis courts. They're gonna start staining and getting it ready to actually put the court down. They've started pouring the concrete curbs. I've provided a lot of pictures in the back just for y'all to see kind of what all's been going on. They've been doing very good with it. One thing on middle school, just stuff that we don't see every day. Behind the scenes, we actually had this shut the serving line down on one side. What was it,
Last week
Me and you were
sometime.
meeting when that call came in because we had an electrical short and shorted out, went to smoking, had to shut the line down. So middle school definitely needs some attention from us. So is there any questions? It's the serving line. The serving line. Yes, the eating lunch line.
I know these 2 guys very well. What were they doing?
They were inspecting the fence.
I graduated one of those guys.
There's a lot of eyes on that field.
We're all just little kids just ready for them to take that fence down. So
And one thing, it's not been just during the day, it's been at night. And it's been,
Like it is at night.
it is.
Ellis is finally finished playing in the sandbox. So it'll really start taking shape now that they've got it back. They had to go down 5 feet and then build it back up 8 inches at a time. That took some time, obviously, but they're at a point now where things will be happening noticeably every day.
And even though it's dirt right now, when you walk across it, it's so much better than the grass is there.
We almost just told them to stop right there, y'all. We're good.
Okay, any questions?
Thank you for all you do.
Hey, thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Agenda item number 10 is the personnel report, district safety and health update from Dr. Menino.
And so the sheet on the top is professional staff this month who have resigned, and you see a name there under resignations. We have 1. On the back, you'll see the non-professional staff who we have hired or transferred to a different position. The first person's name you see there, I want to point that person out. They've worked with us for a year in our grounds department, but have an interest in working with kiddos in the classroom and transitioned over to be a special education aide. And I just couldn't be more proud of the growth that, again, I'm a brag on Joseph and his team at the maintenance, transportation and maintenance and grounds. He and Adam Roy are great role models for the young men that they hire in their department. They do more than just train them to do good work. They train them to be good people. You see two other names. We had a resignation, and then you see we had two terminations. And then the sheet stapled to that is our COVID update. I thought I'd give you a little update since we've seen a spike in our area a little bit. You can see by campus and by district. Our district, as of today at 4 o'clock, had 2% of our staff and students quarantined. And then you can see at each campus. It's getting better. I know that the middle school number is 4%. It looks a little high, but it's just because they happen to have a few staff and a few students combined together. But those numbers are coming down. One day last week, we had 86 students return. So it's getting better. Any questions?
I check it every day.
And y'all can keep your COVID update.
Thank you for your update. Next is agenda item 11, the superintendent's report.
Couple of quick things. You see our district enrollment, 3,071, and ADA currently from August 11th until January 21st, 93.51. So we are missing our mark there. If you remember the first 6 weeks, we battled a different variant, and TEA came out and said that the average of the 4th, 5th, and 6th 6 weeks would replace the attendance rate for the first 6 weeks. Well, now here we're on the 4th 6 weeks with a different variant, and our numbers are no better this 6 weeks than they were in the first 6 weeks. So in some places they're worse. So I'm hopeful that TEA will help us out. It's not just us, it's the entire state battling this. And in fact, we're probably better off than most. But we are missing our mark there on ADA. If you look at the bottom, I will be in Austin at Midwinter this Saturday through Tuesday. We have a winter break coming up the 7th through the 11th. Our regular board meeting for February has been moved to Monday, February 14th. And then Wednesday, February 16th, we have the middle school board lunch tour at 11 o'clock. So that's upcoming events, and Joseph covered construction. Do y'all have any other construction questions? The elementary school, we're waiting on summer to get here, and we'll hit the inside of the school during summer, and then have that complete before we start next school year. And they'll be working on the exterior on the wing at that point. So survey, geotech, yeah, and they've done a lot and they've got our 35% drawings from Claycomb. So they're getting closer to being able to give us a final number on that project. Any other questions for me?
Agenda item number 12 is closed session. Go into closed session at 7 o'clock.
For all this, you probably say it every year, but I mean it this year. It's the best it's ever been. The best. In 18
Could have
years.
said it better, boy.
I really mean it.
Joe Biden.
Oh, my God.
No doubt.
This year, really.
It's really good.
Guys, feel free to head home. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Yeah, just any of them's fine.